Tip top trippers, my name is Donato and welcome to our latest video where I'll be talking to you about lessons learned from Yorkshire Marathon, or more to the point, what went wrong on that day. Let's go. But before I get into the detail of this video and content, I would really appreciate it if you are new here, or if you haven't already done so, please do give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, because it really does help my channel. Thank you all so much. A warm welcome back, guys. Yes, it's Thursday the 21st of October, so it's now 4 days since the Yorkshire Marathon. And in terms of where things, I say it depends how you spin it, where things went wrong, lessons learnt, but there was three main areas, and that was to do with fatigue, the three F's I've called it: fatigue, fitness and flu. Yeah, but before I go into those three details, I've got to give a massive shout out to each and every one of you guys, yes, you watching this, because I know there's hundreds and hundreds who have been watching these videos, commenting, some putting public comments, some sending private messages and so on. It's been absolutely overwhelming. The love and support from you guys has made me feel really good, and I do appreciate that. For a lot of people, you know, I came in for me, a disappointing time of 3 hours 52, and I do appreciate that for a lot of people dream of running those times, so I do understand that. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but for me the disappointment is when you've trained and worked hard and you know you can do a low 3 hours or a sub 3 marathon, but things just don't go right on the day. It is disappointing. For me, I was just expressing my feelings at that time, and sometimes I feel, especially with people talk about mental health awareness and mindfulness and all that, it's essential, I feel, that we express how we feel at that time and not bottle it up and hide it or cover it up, because it's better out than in, don't you think? I mean, for those of you who work professionally in the mental health sector, you know, feel free, or if you have some experience, leave some comments below on your views of that and what you think. But for me, it was essential to express those feelings. Certainly, you know, some of the feedback I had on the other socials, if you follow me with Pace, I found it quite interesting, shall we say. Some of the feedback from people saying bad attitude, wrong attitude, and I'm thinking, no, my DNA is positive, and it's essential to express how we feel. So that was my point on that. So thank you guys, it was beautiful. I've had so many comments from friends who are not runners who've been reading some of those comments, saying it's amazing that there's so many of you who take the time to leave those detailed and well thought out, loving comments of support. So it makes me feel good, and I hope it makes you feel good too. But if you haven't read those comments, go back to the Yorkshire Marathon video and have a read through from some of those comments there. It's absolutely brilliant. Feel free to add your comments there as well. So yes, let's get into the detail of the three F's. Yeah, three F's. Oops. Yes, my old gloves. Three F's of fatigue, fitness and flu. And we'll go through those one at a time. So yes, guys, the first point, fatigue, which a lot of you picked up on. And hindsight is a wonderful thing, but one of the key things for me is often I forget that I'm 60 years old. Yeah, and when we get into certain ages, it takes us more time to recover from exercises, and sometimes we get more fatigued than when we were in our youth. So as much as I was hoping to have run London, and I did run that one easy, although looking back on the stats, it was over easy, if that's the exact word. I wasn't going super easy. I mean, to come in for time of 3:23, that wasn't super easy. So I thought, doing what I'd done, there was enough time to recover. And speaking with my coach, said if you do, you know, around 3:30, 3:20, 3:30ish, gives you enough time to recover. But I look back, and definitely on the day, Yorkshire Marathon, I was definitely fatigued. I mean, for the legs to go the way they did, there was a lot of fatigue in there. And you know, as I've said before, you can't fake a marathon. It'll find you out. And last Sunday, it definitely did find me out. So there was a fatigue, an ongoing fatigue from London Marathon, but also I think the weekend of Manchester Marathon, whilst I didn't do any hard sessions, I think I'd done the park run on the Saturday, whilst again super easy. That was an extra 25 minutes. I thought by Sunday I had a half hour easier, and I thought do it on the Saturday, but then forgetting that Manchester, I was hot footing it all over the city that day. So whilst it wasn't running, it was having a toll on me, so that didn't aid with the recovery either. So lessons learned, fatigue, as a number of you have already said, I think going forward, because it is lessons learned, what went wrong, fatigue went wrong. Lesson learned is that I won't be doing, I've done the 6 days, the Boston, London, and I knew that didn't work, but that was marathon majors, and you got a place, you got to go. But I'm going to be planning next year to spread them out. So I wasn't planning on doing a spring marathon, because I was planning on doing London again next year. Again, I'm in an R-ing with Berlin, because I've deferred the place whether I do London or Berlin. But that aside, is I have the 70.3 in June next year, and so I might throw in a spring marathon as well, so it keeps it spread out, and see what time I can hit next spring. So that's my lesson learned on that. Fatigue, oh yes, we do need rest and recovery, don't we? On to the second point. So that was my first point, fatigue. The second point is fitness, my level of fitness. Had I got my level of fitness to the level I wanted to? And unfortunately, for those of you who've been following my weekly walk and talk updates, there was a period, I can't remember how many weeks ago, months, but I had that vertigo where I had to miss a long run, and I wasn't well at all for that week, whilst I still turned up to do the shorter sessions, the shorter easy runs. It was extremely difficult with my vertigo, and it seemed to just persist for weeks and weeks, and it was on and off. And I certainly remember running the big half, and I didn't feel 100% with that one either. In terms of what percentage I felt during the big half, it's difficult to say, but it certainly had an impact on my level of fitness and time. So for me, unfortunately, with that block of training, I didn't do a full block of training. So I've got to be honest with myself, and I hadn't done enough. So that was the fitness side, which was the second point. Yeah, there's no sugarcoating it. You do the training block, If you miss sessions, you can miss one or two, but for me, I had it was at least 2 or 3 weeks where I couldn't really perform at the right level, and it was quite frightening at times, where the head would just spin and I was having to hold myself whilst running. You can't cover it up. I just had to let it go through my system, which leads me on to the third point. Flu. So yes, my third and final point is flu. Now, I use the word generically flu. I don't know what I had. Literally, I think it was the Tuesday and Wednesday, or it might have been a Wednesday and Thursday before the Yorkshire Marathon. I was feeling a bit hot-headed, not as in angry hot-headed, but my temperature was hot or whatever. And I seemed to have something. Now, by the time I got to the Sunday, with all the excitement, I'd forgot about it. But I need to look back and analyse and think, well, there must have been something there, because there was a number of indicators where, whilst it may not be flu, I mean, only this morning I woke up with a very sore throat and aching eyes, and took some paracetamols and staying in bed. It's now around midday, so I got up a lot later. I felt a bit throaty. If you look back on my Yorkshire Marathon video, first thing in the morning, I was very throaty that time, not like me at all. And there was other indicators that showed that there's some kind of bug virus in me. Don't worry, it's not that, because I did do a test. Obviously I had the test 2 days before London Marathon, that was negative. Tested before Yorkshire Marathon, that was negative. And I had another test this morning just in case, because sometimes things can happen, and that was negative. So it's not, it wasn't that. Yeah. What's happening now as we've been opening out, there's lots of bugs and viruses going around, and I'd obviously caught something, because for me the real indication where I knew there was something not right is after finishing the marathon, I went to the toilet, and my eyes, both eyes, there's a lot of white pus in my eyes, which I normally get when I've got a virus or a bug going on in me, or there's toxins in my body. So I could only put it down that I was sick. Yeah, but with the excitement you just want to keep going and push, but you can't push it. And again, hindsight, lesson learned. I should have toned it down, you know, maybe I wouldn't say a DNS, you know, not start it, because I don't think I was sick enough not to start, but I definitely felt I didn't feel right physically. There was something going on in my body, and as I say, this week again I've been on and off sick, taking lots of paracetamols, and that's it really. You can't really do anything if you catch a bug or a virus coming up to a race. So for me, the key thing on there was maybe slowing it down a bit, or not going as hard, but it felt good. I did check a few things. I mean, I might look at a few things, check on my watch whilst I'm running next time to check that there's some things not going over. But the thing to me that was an indicator that there was definitely something going on in my body, and I mentioned it long before the pandemic, of how, you know, with our Garmin watches, smartwatches, we can detect things. I had looked at the week before the marathon and my rest heart rate, and then the rest heart rate the day after marathon. So for that particular week, so from the Tuesday through to the Monday, my rest heart rate was considerably higher than it normally is. It was in the high 40s, and I think on the Monday 59, which, you know, it's almost, you know, it's over 10, 15, almost 20 beats per minute above what it is, and that's telling me that my body's working hard to fight off some kind of virus. So that's all I can conclude, irrespective of all the 3 F's, you know, the fatigue, fitness. It's the flu that I think was the biggest knockout for me, unfortunately. But that's how the cookie crumbles, as they say, as I approach a beautiful scene here, because I am filming here in Middle Earth in the UK, Lickey Hills. Look at this. Oh man, isn't that beautiful? Sometimes I feel like I could be in British Columbia in Canada. Yes, but I'm not. I'm in Middle Earth. And for those of you who are new, haven't been watching this channel for long, I often go out and do my walk and talks around this area. It's beautiful, and I hope that you've found this video useful in some way. And for me, it is big lessons learned, and sometimes I feel that we need to express how we feel at the time to, as I say, it's better out than in. Often bottling up feelings and so on is not good for our mental health or physical health. But for me, hopefully in some way, looking back on this, or whenever you see this, look back at those 3 F's, is we can learn and move forward from that. And maybe you could relate to it. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below if you relate to any of these 3 points that I've raised whenever you do a marathon or half marathon or any form of running, really. Because sometimes when we can relate to it, what other people have been through, it helps us in our own way, and maybe helps us feel better and not beat ourselves up, because sometimes we do beat ourselves up, don't we? And unjustifiably so. We shouldn't be beating ourselves up, because there's always lessons to be learned. And for me, I've got some great lessons learned from this. Right now I'm still resting. I'm only 4 days into my rest. I'm having 2 whole weeks of no running, 0 running. I'm doing my walks whilst I can, and yeah, it is what it is, as they say. So thank you all so much for watching this. I really do appreciate you taking the time to come back each and every time watching these, leaving the comments, the thumbs up and so on. Greatly appreciated. And if you want to share this amongst your friends, family who might find it useful as well, then please do. But without further ado, I'm going to carry on my walk here, and I'll see you at the next video and update you of what's coming up, because I've got a few exciting things in the pipeline, and I'd like to share with you what's coming up in terms of training, races and all that type of stuff. So keep it real, guys. Love you all. Oh, I know It's old gloves, but hey, you know, keep me warm. Take care guys, bye bye.